Toyota has named Koji Sato as its new president.
Seeing the Lexus president to become the new CEO.
And Akio Toyoda, I think he gets knocked for Toyota's position in the fully electric vehicle space.
Toyota's CEO just dropped a bombshell that's left truck fans and industry folks scratching their heads. The brand you count on for rock-solid trucks, the one that basically defined the whole truck scene, is pulling the rug out from under its entire lineup. It's not just a quick decision, it's a massive change in strategy that's leaving us with more questions than answers. So why would Toyota, known for its robust V8 Tundra and dependable Tacoma, take such a drastic step? What kind of hidden hurdles are they facing, and how deep do these challenges go, affecting not just Toyota, but the automotive world? What's happening? The automotive world is undergoing a seismic shift, a revolution that's forcing every player in the game to rethink their strategies. The terrain isn't just changing, it's being rewritten completely. New competitors are darting in from every angle, while consumer preferences flip faster than a channel surfer with a remote. Environmental concerns, technological innovation, and economic factors are all pushing buyers to demand more from their vehicles than ever before. Toyota is currently navigating a challenging landscape, facing numerous obstacles that threaten its established reputation. It is no longer solely about selling vehicles, it is about survival in an environment where change is the only constant. How profoundly are these challenges impacting Toyota and making them reevaluate its truck production line? Let me break it down to you. Sales decline. By the midpoint of 2024, Toyota's global sales had taken a real hit. Total sales had dropped by roughly 4% when you add up year-to-date figures, translating to about 6.1 million units hitting the road. Now, don't miss the fine print here. Within Japan alone, a market Toyota would traditionally have in its back pocket, there was a dramatic 27% plummet in sales. Talk about a home turf struggle. Meanwhile, the international scene didn't fare much better. There was only a slight bump of 2.6% in sales, thanks much to rising demand in America trying to offset the domestic dip. Let's line up some specifics. In the first half of this year alone, Toyota saw sales shrink down by 4.7% compared to where they stood last year around this time. The outcome, total sales were around 5.2 million units. Again, not to be missed are the eye-watering cuts in pivotal markets. Japan's sales were down by a hefty 22.3%, and over in China, another 10.8% drop reared its head. But how did Toyota end up here? Price war? Specializing in electric vehicles, BYD and Tesla have become a major threat to Toyota thanks to its sharp pricing strategies that make it tough for Toyota to keep its footing. These electric vehicles have managed to snag a hefty chunk of the market by rolling out affordable electric vehicles that are just too tempting for budget-conscious buyers to resist. Let's talk about those pricing wars. The automotive battlefield is heating up as brands like BYD and Tesla are slashing prices left and right to lure customers. It's like a tug of war where Toyota is being pulled two ways: cut its own prices or beef up its offerings with more features or enticing financing options. Historically, Toyota has been sailing on the premium seas with shiny profit margins as its wind in the sails. But in the face of aggressive pricing from newbies like BYD, this ship isn't cruising so smoothly anymore. Now, there's the shift in consumer preferences throwing another wrench into the works. These days, people are all about sustainability and cutting down on costs associated with owning a vehicle. Electric vehicles are often seen as the golden ticket to both. Once the masses caught wind of climate change's impact, a substantial number started turning their backs on traditional trucks and SUVs. Instead, they leaned towards electric vehicles, believing them to be kinder to Mother Earth. All these currents have undeniably dented Toyota's market share. Let's break it down. Toyota's market share has tumbled from a comfortable 12% to a less sunny 9%. For a brand that once loomed large over the automotive industry, this slide is downright worrying. This dip isn't just about flagging sales figures, it's also a flashing red light on the dashboard of consumer trust. At the same time, there's the transition toward electric vehicles that's making waves. Sure, Toyota's been flexing its hybrid prowess, boosting its hybrid sales in North America by a whopping 57.2%. But here's the kicker: while playing it safe with hybrids, they've missed a bit of the full electric vehicle train. Their overall performance is being left in the dust by competitors aggressively chasing the full electric vehicle dream. For those on the hunt for fully electric ways to get from A to B, Toyota might feel like it's trailing in the race for cutting-edge innovation. Now let's talk about the other thing that's truly shaking things up for Toyota in more ways than one. The 2024 Toyota Tacoma. The 2024 Toyota Tacoma has turned onto serious issues, namely the truck's new turbocharged engine and transmission systems. These are hardly minor tweaks. They're significant changes that seem to be causing more headaches than excitement. And it's not just a trivial hiccup we're talking about. This could potentially shake the very foundation of Tacoma's sales. More importantly, it puts Toyota's long-standing reputation for rock-solid reliability and unmatched quality craftsmanship in the hot seat. Why does this matter so much? Well, let's take a walk down memory lane. Toyota has meticulously constructed its reputation over the decades, brick by reliable brick. Think of it as the trusted name in the garage of vehicle brands. Always there, always dependable. Vehicles like the Tacoma and Tundra have steadfastly maintained their place as top picks for many buyers who value longevity and resilience. Delve into consumer surveys, and you'll see that the Toyota name frequently stands proudly among the best of the best. It's often praised for its ability to take a beating and keep going without fuss. People wanted a brand that could weather endless road adventures and daily commutes without breaking a sweat. But now, in what feels like a plot twist, recent developments have nudged this reputation into murkier waters. The 2024 Toyota Tacoma was a vehicle that was once a staple of reliability and is now causing quite the stir. Over time, Tacoma's sales have taken a nosedive, leaving industry experts scratching their heads. But that's not even half of it. What's more concerning is the whispering among consumers about the developing quality issues. That's right, people are starting to talk, and not in the good way you would hope. Let me break it down to you. Engine failure. So you're cruising down the road in what's supposed to be your reliable new ride, the 2024 Tacoma, and suddenly it's shifting like it's got a mind of its own. Sounds like a nightmare, right? Well, for some Tacoma owners, that's the reality. On top of engine woes, this latest model is grappling with some serious transmission turbulence. Picture this: erratic shifting that feels like you're on a bucking bronco rather than behind the wheel of a sleek truck. This isn't just an annoying quirk, it's a significant issue that's raising eyebrows over safety and comfort, two things drivers hold dear on their list of must-haves. What's going on with these gears? Complaints are rolling in about harsh shifts that feel jarring and a delay in engagement that leaves your heart pounding for the wrong reasons. And in some unfortunate cases, we're even seeing complete transmission failures, the kind that leaves you marooned and questioning your decision to trade up for the 2024 model. These issues do more than just make drivers question their sanity. They're throwing some serious shade on Tacoma's engineering prowess. It makes you wonder if this is the same Toyota that's been synonymous with reliability for decades. So what's the fallout? Well, it's not looking good for Tacoma's sales figures. Dealerships are starting to feel the strain, watching their inventory gather dust as consumer confidence takes a nosedive. People aren't lining up to buy a truck that struggles to provide smooth, reliable drives. And that dip in trust, it's a hard road to recovery, even for a brand with the legacy that Toyota has built. The decline of the 2024 Toyota Tacoma. Declining sales are the first casualty in this unfolding drama of the 2024 Tacoma. Once upon a not-so-distant time, the launch of the 2024 Tacoma fueled a kind of public madness, inspiring truck enthusiasts everywhere to dream big. But that enthusiasm has hit a drastic U-turn, morphing into skepticism almost overnight. The spread of dissatisfied voices online, echoing through forums and exploding across social media platforms, has potential buyers thinking twice about getting the keys. It's a bit like being at the buffet, but deciding the pasta might give you a stomach ache after hearing stories from most folks who've tried it. The cold, hard truth is staring us in the face. But it's more than just numbers at play here. They say trust takes years to build and mere seconds to shatter, and Toyota's seeing proof of that painful truth. Known for rock-solid reliability, Toyota finds itself on shaky ground. Die-hard fans, those who swear by the badge, and roots unmatched by mileage, are growing vocal in their disappointment. They grumble that Toyota seems to have taken a detour, wandering far from the core values that first won their hearts. Such erosion of trust doesn't heal with a simple apology or a few future promises. It's a slippery slope that could lead straight into the arms of competitors, brands that haven't yet lost the faith of their followers. Then comes the broader picture. Reputation damage. That invisible yet incredibly tangible blow. These technical snafus don't just take a bite out of immediate sales figures, they gnaw away at Toyota's shining image as a beacon of quality and reliability. Bad reviews, once lit, burn brightly, circling outward like wildfire, affecting and altering consumer perception. To top it off, these damaging narratives have a tendency to linger like morning mist, complicating attempts for any grand comeback or reclamation of that once unassailable status. Impact on suppliers. The 2024 Tacoma is sending waves through their network of suppliers and upsetting the delicate balance of the broader automotive supply chain. Picture it as Toyota wrestles with plummeting sales and rising quality concerns. Those vibes are transferring with full force to their suppliers. It's creating ripple effects that could easily cascade into a chain reaction, destabilizing not just Toyota, but entire segments of the automotive industry. Let's zoom in on the suppliers. The numbers are staggering. Over 300 of them are currently grappling with financial difficulties directly linked to dwindling orders from Toyota. Since these companies have their cash flow tethered tightly to Toyota, any decision Toyota makes to cut back on truck production hits them hard. This isn't just a minor blip, it's a full-on storm. Whether Toyota's cutbacks are influenced by a drop in demand or a major strategic pivot, it sends shockwaves down the line, rattling its supply chain. And then come the decreased orders, which translate into fewer parts and components being requested. For suppliers whose lifelines depend on those orders coming in like clockwork, the sudden drop spells immediate financial distress. Imagine running a business that suddenly loses its biggest client. That's the dire situation many suppliers are thrown into. Cash flow issues surface, and the pressure mounts to keep the wheels turning, literally and figuratively. This throws suppliers into an operational quagmire, forcing them into survival mode. Financial strains push them into making some tough, almost ruthless decisions. Layoffs and cutbacks become a harsh reality. Employees face job losses, and local economies that rely on these industries feel the pinch, watching unemployment tick upward. It's a gloomy domino effect that sends ripples beyond the corporate confines of Toyota or its suppliers. Even more concerning is the effect this financial strain has on standards. When squeezed financially, some suppliers might end up cutting corners to carve out savings, leading to compromised quality. It's the classic vicious cycle. Cutting corners means shoddy parts making their way to Toyota, which could then snowball into recalls and further tarnishing Toyota's reputation. But the 2024 Toyota Tundra is not the only reason for Toyota's failure. The economic impact. Let's talk about the automotive industry's roller coaster ride, one that's deeply influenced by a cocktail of economic factors. Imagine a world where cars aren't just machines, but pawns in a global chess game affected by things like inflation, supply chain chaos, and the ever-shifting terrain of international trade policies. It's a wild time to be in the driver's seat of any car company. Inflation is this silent thief sneaking around and picking pockets without leaving a trace. Except it has left more than a trace on the cost of vehicles and how easily consumers can finance them. The sparkle in people's eyes when thinking about buying a new car. It dims as the cost of living skyrockets. Now, more than ever, consumers are clutching onto their wallets, prioritizing essentials and hesitating on big-ticket items. Consider this. In 2023, inflation rates have been stubbornly clinging above 5% in numerous places around the globe, shaking consumer confidence. It's like a domino effect, where decreased confidence leads to tighter purse strings and in turn a slump in car sales. Those nice, shiny, expensive models in particular. The plot thickens with supply chain disturbances, a gut punch courtesy of the pandemic and geopolitical squabbles. The automotive sector seems like it's got a target on its back, taking hit after hit, especially when crucial components like semiconductors become as rare as hen's teeth. For big names like Toyota, these shortages translate into delayed manufacturing and delivery hiccups, tangling up their sales figures in a not so neat bow. This isn't just a small snag, it's more like a full-blown ripple effect, sending shockwaves through the industry. Manufacturers find themselves in a scramble, desperately seeking parts, which sends costs soaring. And guess what? Those costs inevitably find their way to the consumer. Don't forget about the influence of global trade policies. They're like the invisible hand-guiding market dynamics, making waves through tariffs and trade agreements. These policies can decide the cost of getting vehicle parts from one country to another, and where manufacturers decide to set up shop. For instance, any shifts in the trade relationship between the US and China could send Toyota's supply chain plans into a tailspin, messing with their cost structures, especially considering how many parts come from Asia. So yes, the automotive industry is on quite the journey, navigating this intricate maze. It's a story filled with challenges that force companies to adapt at breakneck speed, all under the critical gaze of consumers watching to see how they handle these obstacles. The stakes are high, making this a story that's not only about cars, but also about survival and strategy in a rapidly changing world. Market share at risk. Now let's talk stock, a company's financial heart and soul. When sales numbers slide down alongside whispers of quality concerns like those surrounding the 2024 Tacoma, investor trust can waver. A shaky stock performance doesn't just bruise the company's ego, it could strangle Toyota's ability to pull in capital through equity financing or even tweak its credit rating, making borrowing money for future ventures pricier than a top-shelf bottle of champagne. Peering into the future, the long-term implications are nothing short of a nail-biter. Imagine Toyota failing to win back the faith of consumers, especially after hiccups with newer models. That's a direct route to hemorrhaging market share, not just to veteran competitors, but to the fresh-faced challengers in the electric vehicle scene, like BYD. This isn't just losing a few sales here and there, it's potentially a downward spiral. As they lose their grip on the market, economies of scale shrink, making each car costlier to make and squeezing what's left of their profit margins. And then there's the brand itself. Toyota's decades-long reputation as a bastion of dependability hangs in the balance. Loyalty from consumers is like gold dust. It's rare, valuable, and can easily slip through your fingers if you're not careful. If people start thinking Toyota no longer stands for reliability and quality, they won't hesitate to migrate to rivals offering innovation and trustworthiness in spades. This isn't just about today, it's about setting the stage for tomorrow. Challenges that test Toyota's mettle and will determine if they remain a king in the automotive world or become just another name in the race. The ripple effect. With suppliers caught in a bind, the ripple effects are profound, impacting not only Toyota, but also the communities and economies that revolve around them. Let's talk about job losses. When supplier companies start shedding jobs, it doesn't just alter business, it changes lives. With unemployment rates ticking upwards in areas heavily dependent on those jobs, we're looking at a wave of economic hardship washing over these communities. It's a nasty cycle, isn't it? When people lose jobs, spending drops, and so local businesses feel the pinch too, struggling to keep afloat without the purchasing power that keeps them in business. And what about the quality assurance issues? Here's where things get dicey. Suppliers already struggling to balance their books might push back plans to invest in crucial technologies or the necessary improvements that keep quality standards on point. Think about the impact that can have, not only on their survival, but also the brands they create value for. Like Toyota, cutting back on quality investments is like making a bargain with the future. It's a trade-off that comes at the cost of reputation. Now, increased costs spring up as another thorn in the side. When material costs spiral while orders dry up, suppliers might find themselves tangled in the web of cost management. Picture a juggling act, with dwindling revenue in one hand and spiraling costs in the other. To stay balanced, raising prices for the remaining clientele may seem like the only option, but that opens another can of worms, straining existing relationships and shaving down competitiveness. Then come the dreaded supply chain disruptions. Ever heard the saying, a chain is only as strong as its weakest link? That couldn't be truer here, since modern supply chains are networks of intricate connections. A disruption at one supplier can send shockwaves throughout the entire system. If a key supplier can't deliver its precious components on time because of financial roadblocks, Toyota's production lines could come to a screeching halt. The result, further losses and inefficiencies, with everything backed up like traffic during rush hour. The long-term implications of these challenges extend deep into the fabric of operations and partnerships. Imagine trying to soothe strained supplier relationships when trust is on thin ice. If suppliers feel left out in the cold during trying times, they might start exploring greener pastures or scale back their commitments to Toyota. That lack of collaboration and trust can erode the once solid foundations of mutually beneficial relationships. Moreover, as competitors bring their A-game through innovation and enhanced offerings, any hint of instability within Toyota's supply chain might stifle its ability to pivot and respond quickly to the market's ever-evolving demands. This opens up opportunities for rivals to swoop in and swipe market share right from under Toyota's feet. And what of reputation damage? This is perhaps the most haunting specter of all. The mounting storm of these issues can chip away at Toyota's hallowed reputation as a paragon of reliability. If consumers start to suspect that quality problems stem from supplier debacles, the loyalty they've held could come under scrutiny, leading them to consider other brands. The future of truck market. In North America, for instance, trucks have been the sturdy backbone of the market, revered for their utility, durability, and sheer capability. Iconic brands like Ford, Chevrolet, and Toyota have built their legendary reputations on designing trucks that are almost cultural symbols of toughness and reliability. But the winds of change are blowing, and there's a new contender capturing consumer interest: electric trucks. Driven by broader environmental concerns, the pursuit of fuel efficiency, and tech advancements that make yesterday's futuristic dreams today's reality, electric trucks are quickly accelerating out of the fringes and into the mainstream. So what does this say about consumer trust in the giants who have long dominated the trucking scene? Brands like Ford and Toyota didn't earn consumer trust overnight. It's something they painstakingly built one vehicle at a time over countless decades. Consistent quality control, delivering on performance, and keeping customer satisfaction high. They've done it all to earn their place on that trust pedestal. Yet not all is smooth sailing. Recent hiccups like the palpably frustrating engine failures reported in the 2024 Tacoma have begun to chip away at this well-earned trust. Suddenly, reliability and quality control are under the microscope. As these manufacturers pivot toward electronic technology, they're facing growing skepticism from consumers who are more anxious than ever about the promised reliability. Speaking of reliability, let's not gloss over how electric vehicles stack up against their gasoline-driven siblings. According to a 2023 study by Consumer Reports, the transition to electric hasn't been without its bumps in the road. Electric vehicles from 2021 through 2023 have had nearly 80% more problems compared to internal combustion engine vehicles, largely because of issues revolving around batteries and charging systems. These are the backbone of any electric vehicle, and glitches here only amplify the reliability concerns, especially when traditional trucks are still the dependable choice for many. But just what is pulling us toward electric trucks besides the promise of sleek design and modern tech wizardry? One of the biggest draws is their efficiency and the cost savings that come along for the ride. Electric trucks are roughly 50% more efficient to operate than their diesel counterparts, slashing operational costs by at least 20%. For budget-conscious consumers, reduced fuel and maintenance expenses present a pretty compelling case to switch gears. And with the environment taking a front seat in many consumers' minds, the green benefits can't be ignored. Zero tailpipe emissions from electric trucks mean you're not only easing the burden of air pollution, but also playing a part in reducing the greenhouse gas footprint. For those who are leaning into their environmental consciousness, these facts are becoming a central factor in deciding which truck to drive home. Then there's the intriguing world of technological advancements. With breakthroughs in battery technology enhancing both performance and range, the promise of electric trucks becomes even more enticing. As we see an expansion in the charging infrastructure, the appeal and feasibility of using electric trucks for all sorts of applications gain momentum. The future is coming into sharper focus, painted with sleek electric contours and humming with the quiet promise of innovation. So, is the truck of the future electric? The signs are certainly pointing that way as the market evolves rapidly. As manufacturers navigate this complex evolution, the road ahead for electric vehicle trucks is an adventurous one, filled with both potential and challenges. How manufacturers handle these shifts will undoubtedly shape consumer trust and brand loyalty in an unprecedented way. That's all, folks. What are your thoughts on Toyota's recent announcements? Do you believe they can regain consumer trust, or is the shift towards electric vehicles too great a challenge? Drop your thoughts in the comment below. We want to hear from you.